Welcome into the Michigan State Hockey Hub. Today's episode's a recap of the first weekend against Lake Superior State. And those of you who may have missed it, it was on Midco Sports Plus. I understand why people may have missed it, but I watched both games. Did not catch the last period Saturday, so not full games, but I had plenty of takeaways and mostly just updating people on what happened in case you were not able to watch it. Of course, listening on radio, Scott Woody is always a great option as well. I've realized I forgot to mention that oh my God, I almost just said the Danton Cole show. Wow. The Adam Nightingale show started back last week. So that will be a weekly show. Make sure to tune in for that. It was like a different location or something weird. I missed it this week. I'll be tuning in for the rest of it. And if I hear anything interesting, I'll make sure to put it out. Before we dive in, like, subscribe, share, whatever, comment. I don't know. Just do whatever to kind of help this grow. So this weekend, we'll break down both games quickly, bigger takeaways, shorter episode, get you all in and out with your update. And later in the week, we will preview Boston College. Humongous series. Huge. We'll get into that. Friday's game, 2-1 overtime victory. A little bit shaky. It was about what you'd expect from game one of this season. Especially, please note, Carson Dorward was out. He was out, minor injury, should return against Boston College. I assume that was he could have gone if it was Boston College, the first series. I bet you he would have gone. I don't know that for sure. I'm just going with the gut. Like, man, you have to have Dorward in against Boston College. Just let's get him healthy. Let's set him for the first series. Make sure he's 100%. And we'll get into the line breakdown as well. 2-1 overtime victory. First goal was from Isaac Howard with the assist to Daniel Russell. Howard kind of helped force a turnover, went straight to the front of the net, and Howard was able from the boards to kind of just throw it towards the net, a little redirection goal for Isaac Howard. Goal number two, obviously much later in the game, Daniel Russell overtime winner, thanks to an assist from Howard and Basgall. That game was funky. That game, like I said, was first game type jitters, first game sloppiness, some penalties, not connecting with crisp passes like we always see from game one. And we're trying to learn not to overreact. The bigger the sample size of this, the more overreactions deserved. One game, one series sample, much lower in terms of overreaction. Trey Augustine, 25 of 26, was great. Was good all weekend here. About what you'd expect in his second year, and I'm really, really intrigued to see him next weekend. Charlie Schrammel's on the top line replacing Carson Dorward. He only won 3 of 15 faceoffs. And I know, like, you can debate if faceoff stats, how important or whatnot, but that just kind of caught my eye. I thought Strammel in his first game, and we'll get into him next game a little bit more. His first series with the Spartans, I thought he was pretty good. Um, Obviously, I don't think he'll stick on that top line. Dorward will come back. He'll shift down, whatever. I did think he was pretty good. I didn't think he like stood out as excellent in any way. But ultimately, game one, Spartans were able to get the win. It wasn't pretty. It was nerve wracking. You're going to have that sometimes. Look around the league. You see Michigan lose to Minnesota State in their first game. Saturday's game, much more comfortable. 5-1 victory. Isaac Howard again opened the scoring. Russell with the second goal from Shouty and Andrews. And that was a really good job by Nick Andrews. It was a simple play, probably overlooked. He's at the blue line, was able to get the puck through to Shouty, whose puck was was blockered away and or deflected away straight to Russell, who's able to bury the goal. That was the second goal of the game. Third goal, once again, man, Isaac Howard from Russell and Stramel. And this was a good job from Charlie Stramel on this. They're starting their rush, Lake Superior State. And Stramel was able to force the turnover along the boards. And it really helped Transition into Michigan State's rush. Russell to Howard. Howard scores again. That was his third of the weekend. Um, Larson scored a goal as well from Savage. I missed the third period. Did not see this. Was able to see the replay. Don't really know what else happened, but it looked like a good individual effort as well and a great shot. And then Nick Andrews scores the fifth goal of the game from Baskel and Howard. Trey, once again, 25 saves was awesome. 5-1 victory. A much more comfortable victory, a much better performance. A team that looked like, this is the type of potential they have. They went out there and said, okay, we are too talented for this 2-1 overtime type stuff. We got to wipe that away. This is a team we should dominate. Michigan State's a top 5 team for a reason. They have the talent, and they showed that on Saturday early evening. Howard with 5 points on the weekend. I'm feeling it, man. Like, I know I'm reading too much into the first series, but I'm feeling a big season from him. We know there's talent. We know last year, if you watched the preview episode, we talked about great puck distributor. Let's see him get more goals. Nate Bott brought up a great point of Howard hitting a ton of posts last year. Maybe those start to fall this year. It would be massive. Russell with 4 points as well. Trey Augustine was awesome. Some bad penalties. One penalty in game one that I thought was a good penalty to take right in front of the net. Overall, I like the way that the team bounced back on Saturday compared to Friday. Much crisper. You are going to need that at Boston College or against Boston College. You are going to need to play at the top of your game. These passes being slightly off, not generating shots in that first game Friday night. Shots on goal, which I know somebody was not complaining. That's not the right word. Was it, voicing their opinion that shots on goal isn't a good stat. It's definitely can be flawed, but when it was as lopsided as it was for Michigan State heading into the third period Friday night, Lake Superior State had double the amount of shots on goals. I believe it was 11-22 or thereabout. Just not generating much offense. You come back on Saturday, you start generating offense right off the bat. I had 20-something shots on goal in the first period. Much crisper operation. Talent shined. And now let's kind of break down the lines. Here are the lines. A lot of similarities from game one to game two. Those of you on Spotify, I'll give you a quick recap. Top line, Stramel centering Howard and Russell. And on that second line, Red Savage centering O'Connell and Larson. Third line, which I thought looked really good at times. Really good at times. And you would expect this, right? Shouty centering Tanner Kelly, Tommy Manisto. I like that line a lot. They can bring a few different looks, and Scrappy Shouty's been great. Had a great series on the dot, winning faceoffs. Kelly created a nice chance. Shouty got the primary assist on that kind of redirect shot. It's just a good line with some veterans on it and Manisto that brings some speed as well. Fourth line is the only change that we really saw with D'Angelo getting in the second game. I know Mikey D'Angelo was a player that Nate Bott was high on. We'll see kind of if it's just trying to find their footing and figure out which line works best. I didn't read anything into the whole, Mikey D'Angelo didn't play in game one and then he's in game two. Was it performance? Was it this, that? No. I just think they have a lot of talented players. Take yourself back 3 years ago, 4 years ago. My gosh, these guys would all be top line guys on those teams. Not seriously, but you get my point. Team's depth's just improved. The talent on the roster is just simply better. Defense, mostly the same. I did notice number 16. And again, I apologize. I understand how poor of a job this is for me to not pronounce it correctly. Unprofessional, but he really stood out. That's the defenseman, and I swear I'll learn how to pronounce his name before I record again. Lukashevich. I don't know. I'm horrible with names. He stood out to me. 4th round draft pick um, to Florida. His freshman series just looked awesome. First series, calm, poised, crisp pass. A few different times I thought, oh man, he should pass it or he's going to pass it. And he didn't. And it was the right read multiple times on the power play. Like, I really like Lushevich, Lushevich, which we'll go for now. I like what I saw out of him. Again, I mentioned the third line, loved that. That top line, even without Dorwart, was clicking. Clicking. I expect huge things from them. Like, do you remember the Taro Hirose line? Um, that line was awesome, and I think that they could, match that type of production this year. So that's really my takeaways. Oh, before we leave, let's go over quickly the results around the Big Ten. And I'm pulling this up. I'm wasting some time here, filibustering. Results around the Big Ten. Michigan, like I said, they lost Friday night. Again, I'm really not like a let's dunk on Michigan whenever we can type of person. I'm just not. They start their season 1-1, 2-0 for Michigan State, 2-0 for Penn State. Those are the official standings on college hockey news. So Michigan, Michigan State, Minnesota, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Penn State, Wisconsin, none have, of course, played a conference game yet. Those come later in the year. So we'll shake out. We'll spend more time on that once the games start to add up and we have a better understanding of the standings. After one series, not a ton of time needs to be spent on that. Again, like, subscribe, comment, share, do whatever you do. The Boston College preview will be later this week, so please tune in for that. Thank you, everybody, and go green.